John McKeag with Jesus Christ Trust. Now, I'm going to go through tips for getting the free home uh, process to work for you. And that's the information you really need is in the inner circle. Okay, you need that information, and I really, you need to get a trust to for this to work. You could click on this, but now let's just talk about uh, the people that are doing this work. Let's talk about the details of this, okay? Because I want to make sure everyone doing the work, the free homework, if anyone wants to collaborate in that, um, the end result is you get a free home and the address is known and you put out a testimonial. Hey, free home works. This is the location. Here's my, here's who I am. Here's you use a notarized affidavit that we use, and you get a testimonial out of it with all the proof and everything and video and all that information. Who you are, like that kind of stuff. Um, Proof. That's the goal because this has worked for many different people, and I'm going to go through a little bit of a history of this and so on and talk about it. Um, so let me get into that. So this is free home tips. I'm going to call this video tips, and the tips are based on experience. You know what I'm saying? So um, I'm gonna go through some of my experience in the beginning of this video, and then I'll say, okay, that experience generated this tip. You see what I'm saying? And then we'll go into the how-to, real easy, no risk specifics, because I don't want anyone to risk anything doing this, and there's no reason you should. So just a little bit of your time, basically. Um, and so whoever wants to get in on this. All right, so let's go through some history and my experience in this. I got foreclosed on in '07, the big crash, whatever. I was licensed general contractor for in three different states for like just about 25 years, and I had a master's degree in accounting and an MBA. So I was really trying to do what I've been, taught to do in business and building and stuff like that, and do my best. I had a small company, and a bunch of people working with me as employees, subcontractors, getting work done. And it was a family business. In other words, if we weren't making money, we didn't eat, So, but I lost everything, including our home, and I mean absolutely everything. And my family got split up. You know, we have four children, and we still haven't really fully come back together. We just haven't as a family. So, um, especially my side of thing, my two children, you know, still view that this banking debacle as my fault. You know what I mean? And I can understand people not well versed in this thinking that, oh, somebody did something wrong, but that's not it at all. We're under a system of slavery where the bank never signs a document, and there's only one way. There really is mortgage, right? What does mortgage mean? It means to your death, right? It's a mort, right? Your death. So you got to. There are one or two ways to get a house here in America, and pretty much anywhere. Number one way, well, there really up until this point, there's really only one way with two subways. Okay, you sell your soul to the devil. Period. That's the only way to get a house. That's the only way. That is the only way up until this point, right? Either go get a mortgage, get lent on, you know what I mean, and go through that misery, right? Because the bank never owed any money, so you're paying for a bunch of money that they're not owed. Slavery. So, or you literally just sell your soul straight to the devil, and that's how I would say most people do it. You know what I mean? Most people just have that. Because how could the population of the United States, how could hardly any of them qualify for the mortgages for the home prices now. It'd be impossible if they follow the rules. It's impossible. Almost no one can, right? Who's right, like regular people, it's impossible. So why does everyone have a home? Why is like home prices are rising and they're still buying? That's not even possible. Except if, you sell your soul to the devil, which is real. When I opened a trust on 3/14/2016 for the first time that I, help people open over on Liberty Aid Academy and so on, and have for many years, since 2016. When I did that the first time in Chase Bank, the devil walked in, sat next to me, and offered me $485 million for my soul. Literally, and I said no, and it walked out. And that was that. I could go through the details of it, but there's no way anyone is going to have the smallest bit of traction up on me. Except for my experience that I've had. That has traction on me. You know what I mean? Like, using the scientific method to understand reality, that works. The scientists, they don't use it, but you and I could, right? You have a hypothesis, right? And it's like, oh, uh, maybe we could get free homes, right? Oh, okay. Well, how would you do that? Okay, well, let's do some experimentation and see what works, and then check the outcomes, right? And then from those outcomes, come up with the principles of exactly what works and how and so on. That's actually kind of been done for the most part, not in every detail, but a lot of people are out there that have had success using this method that just haven't, that I've helped. I gave them this method, but that doesn't require them to make a testimonial. And you can understand, anyone can understand that the onus, the spotlight will be on you. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing if you want to go get a spiritual boost and go up spiritually. That has great meaning. Uh, which is all our lives have meaning. For the rest of it is meaningless. So I don't want to digress too far, but I'm just trying to say that the spiritual war is real, has been real for me for many years. And what I've done is try to develop this spiritual technology so that anyone can use it. Okay? And that's what I want to go through my experiences and the principles. Let's do that. Okay, that's a little overview. So, since we find ourselves in this slavery situation, as a slave, it's incumbent on you, the slave, to become unenslaved. That's it. It's on you. It's not on me to free you. It's not on someone else. It's not on some government. It's not on, nope. It's not on anyone except for it's on you. You see, there's no way that someone else is going to free someone else. You free yourself. Or you don't get free. And that's it spiritually. Your actions prove you're worthy, or your inaction or your other actions prove you're not worthy. That's it. This is a very simple place like that, okay? And you can use that to your benefit. Okay, so let's go through. I got foreclosed on, trying to learn about a lot about this. Didn't beat him back then. You know what I mean? In the crash, just didn't end up homeless and all that stuff. Spent many years fighting. Got my credit cleared up. Yay! And then helped a lot of other people do that. Um, but still, my family is broken up, and I'm trying for solutions every year, every day since '07. You know what I mean? I'm like, how do I abolish this kingdom of evil that we find ourselves in, this slavery? How is that possible? Nothing else really matters too much to me. That's been my focus. And so, I mean, helping clients and doing that work, yes, and family and so on. But outside of that, nah. Just focus on this day after day, year after year. And if someone come along, I'm like, well, here's what I know. And so, we could try this together. Okay, so let's go into this. Really interesting. This happened right before I signed the trust on 3/14/2016. So this what I'm about to tell you happened in the end of 2015. Okay, like in maybe November, December 2015. Tucson, Arizona. And I had met the first individual to sign the trust after me was this young Huichol Indian uh, shaman, uh, medicine man, young guy, 24, 25. Also an MMA fighter, and also had led a Crip gang out in San Diego. This is a very serious dude with a good heart. But, um, very serious. You're not going to mess with them. So, and his aunt, I happened to meet them. I could go through the details of it, but I met them, and I was out there trying to help people out there, and especially the Native American population, if I could, help understand these principles and maybe free themselves from being, the worst treated slaves in America, currently the worst treated slaves in America. You know what I mean? So I try to help them first. It really, it was like impossible to take even given these experiences, but I want to explain them to you. So I signed him, this young guy up, this one young Wichole Indian up for the trust in 2016, but I met him before that, months before that, and we lined up spiritually and so on. He wanted to learn everything I knew and so on, and so um, I met his aunt and ended up helping her and this big family he's a part of save their restaurant because their lawyer had stolen it from them on paper and they didn't even know it. And I went and looked, and it was like, look, you don't have the title for your restaurant. It fed the whole family and fed the community as a really great restaurant, been around a long time in Tucson. And they got their restaurant back, which had been stolen from them. Anyway, the his aunt, who's more closer to my age or whatever, um, sort of the matriarch, not like the matriarch of her generation, though. Her mother and father were the tribal. Her mother's husband was the tribal leader for the Gente de Itoy. Gente is the people of Itoy. Gente de Itoy. And they're a tribe that straddles the Mexican and U.S. border in Arizona. Their tribal lands is on both sides. It's a what a mess, right? I try to help them, and let's go through some of the experience of that. His aunt became very taken with this home that her friend had owned, that went on foreclosure and was vacant, and it was a beautiful old home. And she's like, "Well, can I get in that home and maybe take it and so on?" And do you have any methods for that? And I was like, I hadn't come along as far as I am now, okay, at all. And someone had given me this other method based on sovereignty and stuff like that. And no, you know what? This was, oh, I'm wrong about the timing of this. This was uh, three, two, this was like in April or March or April. I'm sorry, because the in the Choli Indian shaman I'm talking to you about, he had signed the trust and he had done it right after I did it. Okay, so and that's relevant to the story. I'm sorry, it's been a number of years, so I apologize about getting that slight out of whack there, but the principle matters for what I'm going to go through. Okay. So I filed, more paperwork on sovereignty, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that good at paperwork, but it had worked for someone else, I had been told. And I said to these people, hey, I don't know if this is going to work, but this is, why it might, and so on like that. Filed the paperwork and moved in. They moved in. Uh, filed it, gave them the paperwork, and so the government knew it immediately. And Lupe had signed the trust, and he was in there with them in this home, and it's just right in Tucson. It ain't on the outsides or anything like that. Right in Tucson, and so it's funny. Nothing happened. Okay, I went and visited. I went over there, visited, and hung out for a few hours and stuff like that. I went in and wished them well and all that stuff, and they were going to spend the night. And I went over there to, be there if I could help, talk to, when the police showed up or whatever. Okay. So I went home. And later that night, um, the the only person that signed the trust is the younger guy, okay? This Huichol Shaman guy. He had signed the trust, and no one else in the group in the home had signed the trust. So at some point during the evening or next morning or sometime, uh, the baby needed diapers. He's got a baby in there, and so he had to go out and get diapers. And as soon as he had left, the SWAT showed up, guns to the head, and in that building they went. Get out of here! And they told everybody to go home except for the aunt who they put in jail overnight. I went to the hearing the next day. Um, she went home next day. Nothing happened to her. Um, but the principle here that you know came to light was, oh, wait a second. It did become clear at the time, okay, because I had to go through years of other things to somehow sometimes reveal this information from other events. So the principle of this, which worked out, was they could only enter the building when someone who had signed the trust wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? That was the important point. Okay, so I was like, whoa, that's pretty amazing because not much was known up about the trust except for the devil showed up like, hey, that must be important somehow. So let's figure out how this is important. Okay, someone else. Then I was like, once I opened the trust, I realized, oh, um, people can't be touched that you know use this trust. And I went on to test that in courtrooms and so on. And have uh, like the bailiffs frozen in front of me, and judges render mute, and prosecutors render mute. They just sit there choking. They can't speak. I'm like, wow, I got to extend this, you know, not being able to be touched or harmed or something to a building. You know what I mean? Like, and get it so, no one has to pay a mortgage. And because we're in a time loop. God made all these buildings. How come the devil gets all these buildings in the service of Christ, who are really the people here that matter? You know what I mean? How come they can't walk into these buildings and get them for free? Well, you can. You see, so after I didn't immediately try to get free homes and stuff because uh, a lot had happened there. Facebook on January 8th, 2016, same time, in 2016, same time around the same time. Mark Zuckerberg created a notarized affidavit of me and memorialized my Facebook account. Hey, guess what? He's dead. You know what I mean? And I had been running a radio show with a co-host and this guy named Rob Johnson, who was a fake Freemason. I found out later, but he was on the show like 6 or 8 times. Murdered the same day, they say. You know what I mean? His character was killed off the same day I was memorialized. So it was a real message. Real message. And my wife was not liking that message. We went back east after that. But me, I like the message. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be touched. Great. Okay, I'm still fine. And anybody that signed a trust is fine. Everybody around me is, I mean, friends I had back then, I don't have them. You know what I mean? No one. Zero. People are afraid of what I was doing. Fearful. You know what I mean? It's absolute. They still are. Um, So, but that was very meaningful. So then a bunch of people over the years come to me. They still come to me. They came to me in foreclosure. You know what I mean? They don't want to lose a house. What can they do? So after some work, um, I had people put up a sign with like two sentences on it. It's Jesus Christ Home, basically information like that, and his image of Jesus Christ. His name was on there in the image, and a little other information that the trustee, if you sure you need any information, is there. Put up a Ring doorbell. This worked for, you know, I don't know how long I used that method, like 2 years. Worked flawlessly, except for one time. And this one time it didn't work shed a lot of light on, you know, what principles are at play here. So this next time, it was this is a story. Okay, it was a guy that had his home foreclosed on. Okay, and he'd been living in his car like at Walmart and whatnot, but the home was still vacant, and you know they hadn't resold it or nothing like that. And he came to me. He's like, "What can I do?" And I was like, "Well, here's a method, right? You put this on the door, and sign a trust, blah blah." Okay, so he does that. I'm like, because you only people could be there, are people who sign trust. The only people, you can't have any outsiders there at all. Period. That's what I said. Or you have to sign them in like the White House signs them in. You have a notebook there, and this individual can come in here. But what I found out was you could do that verbally. So, but let's keep going with the story, okay? So this guy moves into his old home, right? And he'd been living in Walmart, so of course there's a bunch of other homeless people there. I lived at Walmart, so I know. And you meet some people and you become friends or whatever, and you're compassionate for their situation and would like to help them. Being poor isn't being evil, and it's the opposite. There's some good people that just don't have money and are there. So, okay, so the guy moves in the house and then he's feeling for these people at Walmart. You see what I'm saying? And he invites some of them to move in there because it's like, I have a free place. Oh my God. And he's back in his home. Well, the cops come and one of them who hadn't signed the trust and is not with God, right? Not with Jesus, opens the door and lets him in. That was it. And this is the only time that these are the only two times that the police have ever retaken real estate under Jesus Christ's name. The only two times, you know what I mean? First time wasn't under his name. First time I told you about Huichol India shaman, Jesus Christ's name didn't enter into it. You see what I'm saying? Except it was in what this shaman had signed. You see what I'm saying? He was under Jesus Christ. You follow? He had signed a trust. Okay. So in this next one, it was like, okay, well, the cops had to wait, to get in there until someone who, wasn't with, hadn't signed the trust until they were in there to open the door. Oh, okay, right? So, um, you know, and the notice was a couple sentences. Then I got, you know, uh, just like did more research. You know what I mean? Like, and of course, just I don't know how to describe it, but Christ consciousness is being given thoughts from God straight. You know what I mean? Like the Holy Spirit, whatever, Gabriel, the angel. You're just only God has access to your thoughts and mind, so you're sent the answer. You're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what? And then you're like, oh. So that's when it come to me about all the information in the inner circle that's in there about, and you need to go like this. What I'm saying on this video, not enough information for you to beat them. Okay, it's not. You have to study the inner circle. I wrote a book. You need to know what you're up against, the creatures you're up against. You need a lot more information than is in this video. But for the people that said, "Oh, hey, I want to work on this with you. I want to win this. I want to get proof. I want to get in. I want to abolish this slavery, or at least make it an option so you don't have to get a mortgage and that you get a home for free." Okay, those people who currently signed a trust and, want to do this work and so on. First of all, this is not for the faint-hearted. I can't tell you, this wipes out everyone, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. It has wiped out everyone, pretty much, except for the very few. And everyone I've interacted with, except for myself. I'm still at it. Uh, the people that are in the homes, they're fine. You know what I mean? Uh, okay, so I had a third client contact me, I want to say about 6 months ago now, okay? Now he's got his, he's signed a trust. He's in a house that's foreclosed on, and so on, but he's in there. He got Jesus Christ's name on the door and a ring doorbell up to record if the cops come by and get frozen and can't get inside. And guess what? They never come because he does the things and they can read your mind from any distance so that they know if you're ready or if you're not. They're coming if you're not ready. They're not coming if you're ready. They're like, whoa, we don't want to get video of this. You follow? So they never come. And this guy calls me and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I forget the exact details of the location, but he's living somewhere up north where he saved this home where it's foreclosed on, right? And no. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. He's down south somewhere and he saved his house, but his he's got a grandson or granddaughter that's been born. Anyway, him and his wife want to move up and be around their grandson or granddaughter, the family. You know what I mean? And he says to me like this. Okay, he's like, now we've gone to visit him. And we come back to the house and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like we're fine. So he's come and gone from the house. Like he would go many states away for weeks on end and come back. House is fine. He's back in, no problem. Amazing, right? And then he's like, so can I just go down and do this at some empty bank-owned home and not pay for a home and not rent someplace or anything? Can I just go do this down there where my grandson or granddaughter, I forget who it was, where my grandchildren are and stuff? I was like, yeah, you know, this was this had become life to this family. You see what I'm saying? I couldn't get him to do a testimonial, and I can understand why. He passed through this and wanted to spend time with his family. He's a grandfather, and he wanted to focus on that. I know, I understand that. I'm a grandfather too. I totally get that. I get that. That's why this work isn't that I'm talking about here. Yeah, you use these tips or whatever, whoever's doing this for your own situation. But I'm trying to get a location where somebody put up a testimonial, put up their name and be like, put it and be like, hey, this is what's happening here. Even a sign in front of it. I want to go visit. And I want anybody else to be like, oh, write this email to schedule a view. Or even if they can't come in and visit, just know where it is. Oh, I came by and looked. That's a real place. That's what will abolish government as the only option. You see what I'm saying? And once it's abolished, which it has been already, this is where it already works for people, okay? But this is about getting the proof. This is not for me about, oh my God, it works. Yeah, no, I know it works, okay? I've been doing this for years and helping people. I already know it works, all right? There is one individual breathing in a body above me in the spiritual hierarchy on this, where we find ourselves in this reality. And I follow I got this far because I do what I'm told. And, you know, outside of that, my nature takes me the rest of the way. But he said, I'm not allowed to do this. That someone else is going to come along and do this. And I'm not allowed. And you see what I've done is I've pretty much done everything up in here. You know what I mean? I've figured out all the truth. I've uncovered it all. I've found out about the bankers, on, every detail. I've uncovered all the truth, all the, science. We're in a dome, like everything. There's just one major action to perform, and it's this. It's already been performed by other people. Do you see what I'm saying? They've already won. The action has already been taken by others. Okay, that's not even where we're at. Okay, where we're at is the proof. Okay, to hold down a place and be like Fort Jesus Christ. Do you see what I'm saying? And when that flag gets planted and that place is then the other play, the control of the rest of Earth goes away. This forces, the spiritual war to a head. Ultimately, you see what I'm saying? Because the place, it will get taken. These principles do work, and that individual will be automatically elevated to a saint in their lifetime. Should they maintain that, stronghold, they will be elevated to that, and that's why I can't do it, because I will do it, before Judgment Day. But that's why this is a gateway left open on purpose for that individual, and I'm under orders to keep it, this sword, sunk in the stone and not pull it myself. To not pull it. You see, I could. I'm under orders not to. And so I'm trying to give you all the information over the years that I have gathered, so that this isn't difficult for you at all to do. Okay, let's go a little further. All right. I had another one. It was just really interesting. This video, this testimonial is up on Liberty Aid Academy. You should go watch it. They did. This couple used the principles that I told them. Okay, put up the notice on the door with Jesus Christ's name and stuff like that. They did it. All right. They don't talk about it in their video, but they did that part of it. And they used my debt removal stuff, which is on Jesus Christ Trust right now. It's one of the courses here, debt forgiveness right here. Okay, you can get it. This has been around for a decade. Go watch the Liberty Aid Academy channel on the first 40 videos of me beating the banksters, getting my checks, everything, non-disclosure agreements, everything. That's almost a decade old now. So that stuff works. Okay, that stuff works. Now, this couple had come to me. They didn't have anything. Okay, they didn't. They were living in their car. They didn't have anything. They didn't have anything. The husband was a vet. This is a relatively young couple. I think they had 3 children, a new baby, and they're young. Or maybe they had one on the way at this time, and 2. Something like that. Wonderful people. So they're like, how can we get a home? I was like, okay, I'll tell you. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. This is what I said to do. And they did it. And it works. So go look at the proof on Liberty Aid Academy's testimonials. They show all the documents, everything of this one, okay? Except the part about the notice of the free home thing. So that's funny, right? Anyway, so they use a debt removal stuff. Let me start. I was like, this is how you clear up your credit. So that's what he did. The husband clears up his credit. He's an Army vet, right? He builds up his credit, gets some credit cards with high limit, and then he goes and gets some cash out of them, okay? Uses the cash to get a 40-acre farm under his VA loan as, military veteran. And only had to put like 1% down to do it. So he got the cash over credit card, got a piece of real estate. Go watch the video. He says all this. Okay. Then they pay a couple months, but then they don't, and they fight and they put up, his name on the door and stuff, and they win, and they get the deed, free and clear. 40 acres for free, for absolutely for free, with the deed. They had 2 young children. I can't go into time after time after. I've had so many clients over a decade, you know what I mean? But what I've seen is when there are young children and babies involved, like Jesus Christ steps in and does miracles that are absolutely unfathomable. It's like, I even still now talking about it, it's like, what? You know what I mean? I never seen a home run success like that in my life, and it was really quick that it happened. So, and it was using the spiritual principle in conjunction with the legal stuff. But legal stuff is fake. The spiritual stuff is real. And so this became for me just how do we just take the name Jesus Christ, put it on the door, right? Move in, and that's it. That's the power. So, because that's what people are using now. You put up a Ring doorbell or similar, right? A motion activated sensor. You know, something moves it like a game tracking camera, right? They have all different kinds. And or a Ring doorbell, like, because you want video of that door of them not being able to get in. That's all you want, right? They come to the door, they try, they can't move, they can't get in. That's all you want. You get that video, that's the win for not just you, but for every human. You follow? So, uh, this is working for people 100% of the time that have done this. Okay, and really the people that are doing this are in foreclosure. I haven't gotten anyone else to just go into a bank empty house. Oh, I did. That's right. That's right. Last story maybe here, to get the principle of the thing. Okay, well, this is a couple of years ago. Maybe about 18 months ago, 24 months ago, 18 to 24. Yeah, no, it's been 2 years now. 2 years now. 2 years. Okay. Some people came down to Florida like, oh, we want to help you do this. Oh, okay. And they were young and they were supposedly, going to do what I said or whatever. And yeah, they've exited stage right at this point. But this is what happened. Okay. How do you find one of these, first of all? How do you find a bank owned home? You just go on like the real estate, like your county has it's tax for this property tax information online, and you can search a property there. And so you can search the owner, the address, and information on all real estate in your county at your county assessor's website or whatever they call it. It's got a different name in every county, state, what have you, right? But it's there. And you can look up who owns property by name. So you just put in bank in that word, and that's it. They're hiding a lot of that because I said to do this, and then now that a lot of these bank-owned properties are held in LLCs to hide that banks own them, so they're not as easy to search. But you can see where the foreclosures happen at the courthouse steps, and then see who owns that piece of real estate, and it would go banked. And so the banks own in these LLCs, not anyone else. So they're just trying to hide that they own so much real estate. In this take it back slavery game of musical chairs, where they always take back the property of the bankers. Anyway, so you can find that property real easy that way. And you just go drive and search them out and be like, oh, I thought this was for sale or whatever. You're just walking around the property looking for an open door and open a window. Oh, this will be easy to take. And go inside and make sure it's not too messed up or whatever, doesn't need too much work or anything like that. Hey, you like the location, you like the neighbors, you like whatever, it's free, but like it. Uh, and go check out a bunch of properties until you find what you like. Best would be with a fence at a gate, right? One point of entry, put up the notice out there, see if it works, right? Okay. So, back to the story. We found a property like that, filled out a deed in a certain way where it was like, oh, just moved it from the bank into this trust, right? Did that, sent it to the bank, the realtor, immediately, and the cops were there real quick that day. You know what I mean? Like really, really quick, because we want to see if it worked. It was like 12 cop cars, a black banker car, and a helicopter flying right over the house. You know what I mean? They all came. Uh, Interesting thing though. It's just they know every movement everyone's doing at all times. It's unreal. So there were four people involved in this. Two in the house. There were four of us in the house, and then we're like, oh, we need to go out and get this. We've forgotten something, and we went out to go get it. Two of us, and we came back in, and we're driving back in, and they hit the house then when I wasn't in there. All these people that signed the trust, and then I get a call. Oh, the cops are here. What do you want to do? I was like, do what you want to do. I said, and he's like, well, I think I want to leave. Okay, well, leave. I don't tell people what to do. It's what you can do. And so They leave. They walk out with the cops, and I'm standing there, and we just get in our cars and drive away. Absolutely not one single thing happened to any of us. We're just like, oh, that's, we thought that's how you fill out a deed. So, because listen, when a deed gets filled out, right, it's supposed to just be able to be filed down at the county register. It's not supposed to be interpreted by anywhere outside of a courtroom. Do you follow me? As long as it meets the right form and it can be recorded. Now, we had sent it to the recorder's office. Here you go. Emailed it. Here you go. Record this. And it was like a Friday. And so it hadn't been rejected yet as a filing. So why come to this location with the cops? You see what I'm saying? Why? Like, why even come? You see what I'm saying? Because now it's a court issue. And now it's like, oh, you say the bank has a better deed than we have, but we have a deed. They have a deed. What? You see what I'm saying? Now the police are interpreting a deed. What are you? You're allowed to do that? That's why I was standing there asking them. You're allowed to, as police, interpret a deed. This doesn't go to court. And so they're like, you have to get out. I was like, oh, this is fascinating. You see, because they broke the law. You see, because we did the piece of paper just to see, oh, are they going to, prove courts are fake or not? They're fake, right? The courts are fake. Following law, that doesn't matter. I've had several women call me over the years to say they got foreclosed on when their husband died, even though the mortgage was paid. They just come and stole their house and put them out on the street. That's right. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I know about reality. The guy helped a lot of people over these many, many years. I know. So, okay, so nothing happened to any of us. Do you follow me? That was 2 years ago. And everyone that has used this principle, putting Jesus Christ on the door, and the reasons why you could go get the Inner Circle, donate, you know, I'm freeing the earth from the bankers. This doesn't have any value. You can't donate to this church, right? What? Any other church doing anything like this? Nah. Nah. Does this have meaning? I think so. Anyway, so you're going to decide to donate your time and effort. Okay, great. Those are the principles. Those are my experiences, the main ones. I have many others. Just heaps of people in their houses right now with a ring doorbell up. Never see the cops. And that's it. They're there. Will you do a testimonial? No, maybe next week, maybe, but they're still there. You see, I can't be like, do a testimonial. No, this is only for the right individual to be elevated to sainthood. Period. This is a pre-set up portal for one individual ultimately to do this the first time. Just like I did the trust the first time. The first time matters. It matters. God is watching. And those people that do that for others first, that's where you get all the spiritual juice. That's where you go, oh, you could be trusted. You could lay down your life for others. Oh, well, guess what? You're going to heaven. Ticket punch. Ting! Guess what? You get to know everything. I'm going to take over your mind to let you know reality. Like I do. Okay, so now let's move this into now. And the people doing this work. First of all, sign the trust. Study the Inner Circle work. This is from years of fighting them. Years. You've got to go look at that information. And take the right appropriate time you need to reprogram yourself, because they will overcome you otherwise, period. Obviously, this video is meant for the extremely experienced people, the very, very, very few I am talking to, or just, I've had enough, I want to die and help my brothers and sisters, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? The way I used to be. So, screw experience, I would just be like, I'm doing this, or I'm going to die. That's it. Nobody done it before me. I'm like, I want to die and give my life meaning, to help others. Oh, and I keep doing that and not dying. Oh my God. So this is the last thing to do, you see? And so whoever does it, they get elevated. Okay, so let's back to principles. Now we have to gather this information in a way that's just not one little tiny 2-second video clip. You see what I'm saying? You need to gather this and hone these principles to a fine razor's edge. We can stick it right up to their throat and be like, what? You see? We need to know forever and ever that they're never going to bother us forever and forever. You see? So we need to do this in a way where no one is at risk, period. The things that I talked about, people were at risk before, but, or seemingly so. But there's a way to do this risk free. And I want to give you some of the principles, some of the methods, and so on, some of the steps I would use. Might I be the one doing this? First event, let's call it, right? A Freemason lodge is, one definite, satanic hangout that every town has. That's just they worship the devil, they run this world, period. That's it. And they're not the same creatures like you and I. This is where they gather, all right, in the dark enclaves of the Freemason Hall. All right. So we're trying to figure out, okay, do you have to, because it's really about, can you come and go from this property? Oh, I got to go get food. I got to go to the supermarket and come back and the home's fine. You see? Like the way that guy was saying who was going to go see his grandchildren. That's what we need, right? From a free home. So, step one is kind of let's see if someone has to have even entered the property or can the name Jesus Christ seal off a property that the evildoers, it's theirs. You know what I mean? For sure it's theirs. A Freemason Hall, that's a satanic, enclave. That's their primary location. But they have hours set for their meetings on the door. They do here in Sarasota. You can look it up pretty much everywhere. Every uh, Freemason Hall has set meeting times. So you could easily go write Jesus Christ on their entry doors, right? They could still enter through a tunnel or whatever. But you could just go down there. Oh, they meet on Thursday nights at 7. Just drive your car down there one Thursday night at 7. You see what door they go in, door or doors, one or two, right? And be like, oh, okay, those are the doors. I think you just, in between their meetings, you can write Jesus Christ on the door right before their next meeting or whatever, right before a meeting you're going to go to. And you can just be there with a camera and film it or you know, have a camera set up and hidden and just turn it on, for that event and not even be there. I set it up out of the window of a car parked, pointed at the door or doors, you see, and just can they cross that line? It's their property. They got the deed, they got everything for it. But can the name stop them from getting in their own, bastion, their own fort? Could it do that? Be free and easy to find out. So I would try that as a first event. Second event, take the same principles over to a vacant home, find it like I said, uh, put crazy glue in all the locks except for one, change out one, get a key to that one, right? Put the name on the door and stuff like that. Put the ring doorbell and don't even tell them nothing. You see? Just uh, see if anyone can come and go. Put up that name on the door to see if anyone can enter and leave the place, and that's it. You don't even have to be there. You were there, but now you're gone. Do you see? You go check on it or whatever, but that should work. No one's at risk. No one's at risk. Then, if it's held and no one can get in, and the video you have already from these, game tracking cameras or motion tracking cameras like a Ring doorbell, if you have the video from that and everything's a go, well, shoot, move your dog in and some things in or whatever, uh, move yourself in, go in and visit. But at some point, you're gonna have to be there. After you've gathered enough information, risk free with no one really there, then be like, oh shoot, this works, and I'm gonna move in, and I'm gonna be like, I'll do a testimonial for you, I'll give you the location and stuff like that. So, 3 kind of events to work through, okay? And those are the principles. And go study the inner circle. This is the free home tips. Anybody who wants to work for me, do it through JesusChristTrust.net. Okay, contact at JesusChristTrust.net. Or get in the classroom, which you could You don't have to have made a donation or whatever. You could get in the classroom over here, a private forum. You could just create a login and go in there. I'll kick any agents out. But if you have signed the trust, so you're currently doing that and want to get in on this, and I've heard a few people want to, well, let's do it over there. Let's get out of Liberty Aid Academy. Let's go over and do this where we can't be stopped under a church umbrella. Okay? You follow me? All right, people. That's the information you're looking for. Who's going to do this thing? Let's find out. All right. And if you do, God bless your success in the name of Jesus Christ.